It is officially one and done time. The MHSAA High School Football State Playoffs. It all starts tonight. A couple of teams pick up their first big win. We got a lot of ball to talk about. 13 on your sidelines coming up right now.
On Your Sidelines, sponsored by Rant Insurance Group.
Welcome, everyone, to this playoff edition of 13 on Your Sidelines. I'm Jamal Spencer.
And I'm Mark Skoll Jr. We have some exciting highlights for you tonight. But before we get to any of that, we want to introduce you to our guests.
That's the polite thing to do. In studio tonight, we have the cheerleaders from West Catholic High School.
Love the energy. Tonight, our 13 on Your Sidelines game of the week featured two teams on the cusp of history. The Hart Pirates are having their best season since 1968, and tonight they competed in their first ever playoff game.
Their opponents from Kent City, they're used to regular season success, but they've never advanced past the district round of the playoffs. These may be small schools, but the stakes tonight couldn't be any bigger. To the Lakeshore we go for only the second matchup ever between these two schools. Kent City starting off fast. Opening drive of the game, Caden Hartzell goes off right tackle before cutting it back to daylight. He's going to take it to the house from 50 yards out. Eagles jump out to an 8-0 lead. The Hart's offense came to play tonight. Jose Luis Andeverde caps off the first drive with a 6-yard score. That ties the game at 8. Kent City's O was just as effective on its second drive. Hartzell takes the pitch around the left end. That gives the Eagles a 14-8 lead. Now that lead would not last long. Very next play, Connor Edwards takes the snap, bursts through the line, and he is flying. Breaks one last tackle right here on his way to a 71-yard touchdown run. Pirates jump out in front 16-14. Eagles running game responds with another long, physical, time-consuming drive. That's going to end with this short touchdown from Joe Van Offelen to retake the lead 22-16 with 1:50 left in the half. Just enough time for Hart. Edwards goes to the air. He finds Andeverde all alone for a 14-yard score to give the Pirates a 24-22 halftime lead. Opening drive of the second half, Hart would get some separation. Andeverde takes the direct snap over right guard, cuts it toward the left sideline, finds a seam back toward the right. Look at everyone looking for someone to block. Credit to the Hart team for getting out in front and throwing some blocks. That's how you get a 50-yard touchdown and a 10-point lead. The Hart would increase that lead later in the third. Edwards breaks a tackle before getting free for a 33-yard score. Hart's feeling good. They're up by 16. Edwards would put the game away in the fourth quarter with this 40-yard score. Hart pulls away to record their first ever playoff win, 44-22.
We're going to enjoy all 24 hours of this one because it's our first one, my first one. So, we're going to enjoy it. Life's too short to not enjoy this one. So we're going to enjoy the 24 hours.
Shout out to Joe Tanis and the Pirates. They'll go on to face the winner of Montague versus Reed City. Reed City won that one tonight. Final score 41-13. You know how much this means to that community in Hart. You've been there to see that big trophy case they got there. They're hoping to add another one to it.
Well, they're going to be adding a lot of trophies if this team keeps playing the way they are playing this season. And you got to like what they're doing. Andeverde, who you mentioned a few times in that highlight, that kid is a stud. And the Lions, Amon St. Brown gave him a shout out before the season started. I think they're going to do pretty well the rest of the way.
Congratulations to the entire community. That is absolutely awesome. Congratulations to the Pirates. Now, Caledonia has faced Portage Northern 2 times, once in 2007, then again 2 years later in 2009.
The Scots won both of those matchups, which interestingly enough also happened in the first round of the Division II playoffs. Let's take you out to the Ralph to find out if it would be deja vu all over again for the Scots and Huskies. First quarter, Caledonia scores on their first drive, then this happens. Portage Northern muffs the kickoff, and Colin Kowach comes flying in for the wrestle and the ball. The refs say they got it. Yep, Caledonia ball, and they would take advantage. Just a few plays later, Brody Bester with the keeper. He meets and defeats the defender on the goal line for the score. Caledonia goes up 14-0. Still in the first, Braylon Amos back to pass, and Maddox Greenfield jumps the route, picks it off, and races into the end zone and sends the home crowd into a frenzy. Hey, somebody give that kid a championship belt. There you go, Maddox. And guess what? Still in the first quarter. Ball on the 25-yard line. This time it's Brock Townsend with the carry. The CMU commit takes it all the way, virtually untouched. 28-0 Fighting Scots. And there's more from Caledonia defense. Amos trying to set up a screen to Jaden Walker, but he gets nowhere thanks to a bunch of Scott defenders. Caledonia wins in a major blowout, 72-30. Next week, they'll face the winner of Byron Center at Portage Central. The Bulldogs won that game tonight by a final score of 42-23.
I think Caledonia really needed that offensive output. This is a team where all season long, we just said they don't look like the same group that made it to Ford Field last year. Offensively, this was the game they've been looking for.
Definitely. When you got two Division I guys on your team and Derek Pennington Jr., Brock Townsend, you're going to finally get something going, and they finally got it going tonight without Mason McKenzie this year.
Most definitely. Well, old rivals from Reitz Puffer and Mona Shores have already played once this season. The Sailors scored a 28-10 win over the Rockets in Week 3.
But 4 straight victories have Reitz Puffer believing tonight would finally be the night they take down Shore. Sailor Stadium hosted this Muskegon County clash in Division II. First play of the game, the Rockets get tricky. The handoff goes to Bryce Ross, and he throws it up to Jackson Whitaker, who brings in the 30-yard touchdown. That's how you start a ball game, folks. It's 7-0 Reitz Puffer. Mona Shores marches the ball down the field, but on 4th down inside the 5, Ross is there for the stop. That's a turnover on downs, but the Sailors would get a safety on the next play. After the safety, Mona Shores capitalizes as Jonathan Hittman hits Yeager Johnson, and Johnson scurries in for the 26-yard touchdown. The Sailors take the lead. It's 9-7. Mona Shores continues to pour it on as Hittman makes a pit stop in the end zone. The 1-yard tumble gives Mona Shores the 15-7 lead, but the Rockets are blasting off again. This is Brody Johnson, who is in for the 1-yard TD. That makes it a 2-point game. Sailors are still on top, 15-13, and Mona Shores keeps its foot on the gas. Pittman throws it deep to Amari Hall-Brown, who was able to keep his feet in bounds for the 40-yard touchdown catch. Mona Shores wins this one 29-20.
That's the type of thing that could turn around the Sailors season. The Dean, another team that hasn't looked like themselves this year, but that gives you all the confidence in the world going into the next week.
Yeah, the Sailors have been light on numbers this year, kind of untypical for them, but they're able to finally get a big-time win against a really good Reitz Puffer team. So they'll go on to face the winner of this next game between Muskegon and Forest Hills Northern.
Now, these two teams have faced off twice before, and the Big Reds have won both games handedly. You know what? They'd win handedly again tonight. The score was 35-0 when our crew arrived. Second and short from the 37-yard line. Mackay guy with the keeper cuts it back. Then watch him go up and hurdle the defender. Got to clean that up before the 110-meter hurdles. First down, Big Reds. Now later in the drive, 3rd and long. Guy hands it off to Adrian Rankin Jr. Jr. going right up the middle in a hurry. 23-yard touchdown. The 2-point conversion was no good, so the lead was 41-0. Big Reds go to their bench on the next possession. Backup quarterback Lynn Wilson III with the Derrick Henry stiff arm. Yikes! That's a big gain of 35 yards before he's dragged down. Muskegon blanks the Huskies 41-0. They'll face their biggest rivals next week, the Mona Shores Sailors.
Did you just say they went for 2 up 41-0?
Sure did.
Wow, Shane Fairfield, I like it. After the break, we have matchups from Divisions 1, 3, and 5.
They include Bird Bowl Part 2. We'll take you out to Zeeland to see if the Ducks or Chicks will be moving on to the district finals.
And they're one of the surprise teams of the playoffs, but does West Ottawa have what it takes to keep their winning streak going against mighty Rockford?
This is Anthony Bradford from Muskegon, Michigan, and you're watching 13 on your sideline. Go Big Reds.